I'll call the meeting to order. Would everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's Hillsdale City Council meeting of August 17th, 2026. There's a sign-in sheet in the agenda when you first walk in. May I have a roll call vote, City Clerk Price.
Yes, Councilperson Bentley.
Here.
Bruns.
Here.
Flynn.
Here.
Morrissey. Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Here.
Soha.
Present.
Stuchel.
Here.
Wolfram.
Here.
Mayor Sessions.
Here.
Got one absent, Mayor.
All right, thank you. I did receive communication that Councilman Morrissey would not be here tonight. Okay, we'll move into approval of agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, may I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented? So moved. Support. We have a motion by Councilman Soha, supported by Councilman Flynn. Any council discussion? Yes, Councilman Bentley.
Yeah, I'd like to ask about the attorney. That didn't happen.
No, there will not be a presentation from the attorney this time. The attorneys had spoke and they felt, or the attorney representatives felt that because there were two motions that are being considered by the court, he wanted to wait till those motions were ruled upon before it, and then he would be happy to give us an update.
Are those scheduled in there?
I do not know that. Tom, do you have any idea?
I do not have to look and see whether or not they get into the.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any more council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes, and we have an agenda. I would like to, public comment on agenda items only. By council rules of procedure, I am requiring anyone who speaks during public comment to state their name and address and limit their comments to 3 minutes. Again, this is on agenda items only, and we also have 2 public hearings where people can speak on those. So the podium is now open.
Hi, my name is Charles Kelly. I'm from Howell Street in Hillsdale. I'd also like to ask you to look on Westwood Street. I think we need to look down the block at the developing issues that are developing on the corner of Bacon and Ribbon. We have nuisances of dogs, fencing that's not been repaired over 3 years now. We need to learn from the opportunity that we have in front of us with Pitchfork Westwood and how we try to intervene before we're here sitting again, declaring another public nuisance.
Okay, thank you. Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, close the podium. And we'll move into the consent agenda. Senators, they have approval of bills on 1C and BPU claims of July 30th, 2026 of $1,271,829. Payroll of July 30th, 2026, $222,019.99. City Council minutes of August 3rd, 2026. Finance minutes of August 3, 2026. Hillsdale College Homecoming Street closure. All right. May I have a motion then to approve the consent agenda? So, support. Motion by Councilman Soha, supported by Councilman Flynn. Any council discussion? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote. City Clerk Price.
Yes, Councilperson Bruns.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Yes.
Councilperson Soha.
Yes.
Stuchel.
Yes.
Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Sessions.
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley.
Yes.
It's 8-0 approved.
All right, thank you. Now we move into communications and petition. A, we have library annual report.
I'm here.
Okay, all right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I will try and keep it brief tonight. So in your guys' packet, there is the full annual report. If you took a glance at it before, great. If not, I guess I will run through some of the highlights that I'm pointing out from the data. We had a really good year overall. But to jump right in, just kind of skip over the first page of just who works there and all that sort of stuff, into the nitty gritty. First of all, I'm reporting to you guys about our circulation data, which first of all talks about our active cards, our residents, and how many people, or let me rephrase that, the amount of adults that we have, the amount of children cards that we have. The difference between the two is that our adult card holders can check out our library of things items. The children cannot. On average, out of the 1,100, almost 1,200 cardholder patrons that we have, we saw roughly 700 to 800 patrons each month, which is a good ratio of our grand total. So that just means that out of all of our 1,200 patrons, roughly 1,200, like I said, 700 to 800 were coming in like unique, at least visiting the library at least once. A good portion of the adult cards also, I should say, even though it is just 1,025 adult cards, that doesn't mean that it's just 1,025 people. It typically means that it's more than, it's like servicing the whole family, the whole household, in some cases. Obviously not every adult still has children or some older adults as well. But it just goes to say that that's not just like the one, can't look at the number as just meaning that the card only serves one person, essentially. And then to flip it over about our actual circulation of our items, a lot of our physical items were utilized this year. And really the interesting thing, well, I should say interesting, to the expected thing is that our circulation between our physical materials and the electronic materials, I guess the gap is sort of getting smaller. And if you're looking at it, like there's a Pac-Man, essentially the Pac-Man's mouth is getting bigger. Which, like, again, is kind of to be expected because a lot of people do a lot of e-reading these days. And then the other thing on that is our interlibrary circulation, which just means how much stuff that we are giving to other libraries in this whole state of Michigan, and how much we loan to them and how much they loan to us. So we received nearly 5,000 items from other libraries, which essentially, or I should say essentially, but a lot of them are things that we just don't really have enough material on. It's stuff that we might have one book on, but if you're trying to teach your kids something, you probably, you need more, you want more. And unfortunately, as a smaller library, we just don't have enough money to, have every single book on every single topic. So hopefully we hopefully are getting a grant. I can't say that we're going to just apply for it, but hopefully we'll get a grant that is aimed at getting more nonfiction books. That's all updated. Sorry, I'm trying to rush through this too. So apologies if nothing is coming out correct. The next thing is, on our next page, our available collections. This year I spent a lot of time trying to get things more than just books. So during this previous year, we launched something that's called the Library of Things, which is just tools and other helpful things that, like, you just bought a house or things of the sort that if you don't really want to buy it for yourself, but you want to know if your house has radon or if there's moisture in your walls, that sort of stuff, we can loan it out to them for free. So that's been a really exciting thing. And then just a small thing, we have had a lot of books to film adaptation movies donated and I guess purchased this year, just because we have a lot of conversations on, is the book better than the movie? So yeah, aside from that, we have been doing a lot of interesting things. Recently, we just launched a propagation station exchange. So essentially, if you have plants. So we have a little stand back in our window, and it has been super successful, which is just really great exposure to the rest of our library. Moving on to the financial stuff. So in our revenues, I should just say overall our expenditures, unfortunately, in the past year were more than our revenues, but that is unfortunately due to some unexpected things that we didn't originally budget for, and just a lot of maintenance on our building, and then the recent carpet project that we just finished was more than we originally budgeted for. We also hired Laura, our new junior services librarian. When we hired her, it wasn't originally in our budget, which all of those things kind of pushed our budget higher than normal. But jumping back to our revenues, I should quickly say a lot of our contributions come from local taxes, and that includes our property taxes, ordinance fines, township contracts, and special acts. But aside from that, everything is pretty business as usual for us in terms of finances. And then going on to our programming, everything that we do programming-wise is mostly done by Miss Heidi. If you're familiar with her or follow our Facebook post, she does quite a lot, and a lot of people are constantly coming to her programs, so I have to assume people are pretty satisfied and following her many things. And in the future, I am just hoping to have more adult programs, so more adults in the community can get out and do stuff, in addition to having their kids being able to get out and do stuff. And then we just finished our summer reading program last month, which was, on the whole, our readers, there was a less number, but the ratio of finishers was still good compared to last year's. And then, skip over that part, because really I just talked about it. And then on the last page, I just include a bunch of different miscellaneous statistics. So over the course of our fiscal year, we have a rough estimate, which accounts for all reasons that people enter into our library. So 36,411 is, it accounts for all of the elections that we have. Anytime anybody just comes in and uses our restrooms, really could mean anything. And then, yeah, really just everything else that we do. We have a lot of visitors, a lot of people coming in and interacting with us and whatnot, and sorry if I just rambled, but I want to let you guys get the rest of your meeting as well. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Councilman Conley.
I have 3 questions. The $20,000 that for the architect, did you already find somebody who spent that?
So, when I was here at the last meeting, yes, well, the bid was selected, we went with the bid, but we haven't expended any funds. So, as far as I'm aware, last I was aware from one of the other board members that's part of it, I think she said that we're kind of in a queue with that, it'll be, I think, about a month or so before they come back to us.
Thank you. On the revenue side, local 225.
Yeah, sorry. So all of that is, mostly it is the property taxes that we collect each year. We also collect money from Hillsdale Township and Jefferson Township to contract for library services for them. It also includes any ordinance fines that the city does. It also includes special acts that the city assesses. So it's basically just things that, locally, the city has had to tax to a property owner.
I guess maybe it's a question for Mr. Mackey. How much of that is a general fund? It's close to zero, right? Or not?
On the fines?
No, on the 225,000 local revenue.
Right. And what is your question?
How much of that is our general fund or our funds as opposed to zero? Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I'm reassured. So, okay, thank you. Lastly, vagrancy, is that a problem? And are they in the parking lot every day? And do to use the facilities? Can you say a word about that?
We have people who definitely utilize our outdoor parking lots, and like throughout the winter time, I would say we have people who at least like to come and sit there during the cold months. They enjoy a warm place to sit. I can't say that there's too many instances of issues, but there I want to say maybe I mentioned one or two things over this past year, one or two things, but I don't know, like year to year, I guess I've only been here for two winters or 3 winters, I can't remember, but it honestly kind of just depends on the weather, if that makes sense. Like, if people have an easier place to go or a better place to go.
You mean inside?
Inside or outside?
What about during the summer months? Are they out there in the parking lot almost every day? And but this doesn't, sounds like you're not concerned about it, and you don't think your clientele is.
I would say that when we are open, we are definitely aware of certain situations that aren't particularly concerning. Otherwise, most of the time they have, like, if there are people who, for instance, the biggest issue that we have are people that want to simply just smoke cigarettes right outside the front door. Nobody enjoys that scent. So really the only thing that we can tell them, at least as far as I'm aware, the minimum distance that we can tell them to go is there's like steps between our two parking lots. So I would say that's really the biggest issue that we have during our open hours. I can't say I know too much about what goes on after, or like our visitor, our closed hours, unless I'm just looking at cameras or something else.
Thank you.
Councilman Flynn.
Rebecca, thanks for the report. I'm curious, has anybody approached Cambria Township about becoming part of the library fund?
Not yet. It's kind of just I don't know, it's an all around kind of tough topic conversation to have.
Is it on their end that they make it tough for us, or we just don't want to go talk to them? Because I've had some residents of Cambria Township tell me that they would like to use the library, but they can't.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would have no problem talking to the township about it. It's more so that if we go to the township and say we would like, we have people who are from your township interested in, coming to use the library, I think a lot of it also would probably have to be residents of the township going to the meetings and saying, can you please advocate or like start putting funds towards them as well. I definitely think it can be like a two-way conversation of saying like, hey, we reconsider, because like we do have a lot of unfortunate conversations of like you're right at Bobby's, like you should be able to come here because you're closer, we're going to a reading. But yeah, I like I said, I would say it's kind of necessary too for them to bug their township, to bug them for it, yeah. Yep.
More council comments. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yep. Okay, then we also had the summer block party on August 22nd, 2026 at 4 to 8. And we also have the fluoride report. And the Hillsdale County Commissioner rural update with Doug Evans.
Thank you, Council Mayor, City Manager. A few items this evening. Sorry. Thank you, Council, City Manager, Mayor. A few items this evening that I'd like to share with you. Roofing for the pavilion at Lewis Emery Park and the main community building is scheduled for the week of August 24th. Landscaping bushes will be installed once roofers have finished their work, and interior painting in the community center after September 1. Hillsdale County road work included a small urban grant that has been completed. A portion of each mechanic, spring, and bar streets have been milled and overlaid. The county office building elevator is unrepairable and is at least 30 years old. The board is reviewing RFPs for replacement or an exterior elevator new build. The section of the membrane roof on the front of the court building was damaged by wind. The board voted to replace the entire roof for approximately $33,000. The 800 megahertz radio project is nearing completion, with all towers now active and fire department vehicle installations underway. The official go-live date for the complete new radio system is targeted for September 4, after which the VHF system will be decommissioned except for storm warning sirens. Judges have requested mediation to resolve the conflict regarding the move to 2D District Court to the historic courthouse, as they oppose the move due to space and security limitations. Board of Commissioners approved entering mediation with Commissioners Leininger and Wiley representing the board. There are legal costs with litigation with the judges. The county's general fund would pay each the judge's expenses to bring suit and the county's expense to defend. Both would come from the county's general fund. There will be a special meeting in the Road Commission conference room of the Parks trustees on Thursday, August 27 at 9 a.m. to discuss the 2027 budget. That meeting is open to the public. And I did attend the cruise-in at the airport on Saturday. About 50 cars showed up. It's a really good time, plus a plus for the airport and our community. And that completes my report. Lots of information. If you have any questions, please do ask.
Any questions?
My report was too complete.
All right.
I can ask you
Proximity.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm curious about the remaining millage funds for the bond. Which committee is reviewing the spending on the, what are those cameras called, body cams?
So the 911 board, public safety committee, and the board of commissioners all are looking at that. That motion was tabled at our last meeting, and it will be brought back presumably at our next meeting. The balance to date that is available, to my understanding, is about $700,000. There still are some projects that are directly related to the emergency services communication that will be coming forward as well. The cost of the body cams, as I understand it, was stated at $300,000, and there will be plenty of discussion at the next meeting.
And is that the radio millage is not all collected at this point? What's the frame, 10 years?
Yeah, so the bond is the upfront money, and then the millage is gone.
Are there ongoing maintenance costs that this millage should be supplying?
I think that the 911 fees will cover future as well. The millage was for the construction.
Okay, so the extra money isn't needed to maintain them?
Correct. My understanding is that whatever, and it's not really extra money, certain bond, the millage wording was approved up to a certain number of dollars. And then as you do the construction of the system, you spend it. And at some point, when you're complete, then you see what you have not utilized. And the question that we will have on Tuesday is where do we stand, what money is left from that number of dollars, and should that be used to pay down the loan?
And are those funds restricted in any way? Do they have to be spent on police and fire equipment?
In the village language, we spelled out that those dollars can be spent on.
Okay, so it can be used for police body cams, but not for any county project?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Bentley.
But there is a framework that the bond can be paid off early?
You can pay down on the bond, yes.
Is that being considered?
Yes. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Any more questions? And I was out at the car show too. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate that. You're welcome. This is a good time. So, all right. Well, thank you, Commissioner Daniels. Okay. Now we'll move on to introduction and adoption of ordinance of public hearing. We have public hearing resolution 3683, declaration of nuisance, chapter 14, article 2, Hillsdale Code of Ordinance 64 Spring Street, failure to abate. Kimberly Thomas.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we sent notices to the property owner and also to the land contract holder to allow them a chance to come in tonight and express anything they might have to say regarding the issue. If they have not taken down the house, obviously, since the last time I was here. So what we are requesting tonight is permission to move forward in the form of the resolution that we submitted to go out for bid for the demolition. And then I would like some direction from council on whether or not you want me to take down the garage along with the house, or are we just taking down the house?
Council questions? Councilman Bentley.
The garage happens to be open. I hope you clean it out, but I see no reason to take it down myself.
No question? Mayor Pro Tem Bentley.
Thank you. Have you examined it? What shape is it in?
I have not been inside the garage. From the exterior, it appears to be structurally sound. My only concern is with what is being stored inside.
Okay. Now the city's not going to get any money back on this, right? It's going to go to foreclosure and the county's going to sell it.
More than likely.
I guess the question is, what makes it more likely for someone to build on it? A clean property? How do we avoid a vacant lot or a property with don't know.
Yeah.
Councilman Bentley.
I have some pictures I can show you. It seems well built and fairly recent.
Newer than the house, for sure.
What's that?
Newer than the house, for sure.
Okay, yeah. It would cost us more, and I think it's an asset. So I save the expenditure, keep the asset, and see if the buyer's interested. And if they don't want the garage, they can take down themselves.
Councilman Flynn.
I tend to agree with the way Mayor Pro Tem is thinking, though, that if you take them both down and then have a flat piece of land, a clean canvas, that way then somebody's going to go, oh, I can do this, that, and the other thing, and not have to worry about an extra expense. I mean, I understand it's going to be an extra expense to somebody, either the city or whoever buys it, but I just think if you have a flat, plain piece of land, you're going to have a better chance of selling it and getting it back on the tax rolls.
Thank you. I should know, I didn't check the garage doors, but there's two of them, and they seem to have automatic garage door openers. So it's a nice structure, and I don't like real estate speculation. Like, we have to do what we have to do, and especially if we're not getting money, I think it would be a considerable expense. And I think it's a considerable asset, so anyway, that's where I stand.
City Manager Mackey.
Kim, I know there's a mobile home park there on the east side of the garage. Would that be part of the cleanup process before
Yes.
that?
The inoperable vehicles, I think that's the only inoperable vehicle there now. The garbage, all of that will be removed along with the house.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Thank you, Mayor. Is it fit for rebuilding? I know we've had a few problems where the lots are too small for our requirements.
No, this one is plain.
Thank you. Okay, any more questions? Not seeing none, thank you. Okay, I will open the podium for the public hearing at this time.
Okay, I'll speak on Bruce Sharp, 80 Westwood Street, former councilman. I'll speak on that property. Dustin Tabbert built that garage years ago. Dustin Tabbert worked for Jones Lumber Company. He also was a fireman. He knows the construction trade. That garage is solid. No problem with that garage. You tear that property down, it'll probably cost you $20,000. That garage is worth $20,000. You're gonna make money on that property. Just tear that building down. There's no hope for it. But the garage is solid. Like he said, it is solid. It's built right. So that should answer your question.
Any more public? Seeing none, I will close the podium for the public hearing and we'll move into council discussion. Any council discussion? Okay, yes.
Just one thing, because they're separate structures, the garage is not attached to the house, unless you have condemned the garage because it is unsafe, right, under the city's ordinance, I don't think you can tear it down because it's a separate structure. I mean, you could do it because even if you took them to court to do it, issuing a citation, you would have to be able to demonstrate that, there are structural deficiencies or something else with the garage that in effect it's going to fall down or something if it either isn't demolished or repaired.
Councilman Bellman.
I have a question. I'm afraid I know the answer because you've told me a number of times. If the county forecloses and our liens just go away, or will they reimburse us something?
No. They go away, so that type of lien disappears under the foreclosure statute when they go down to tax foreclosure.
Any more council discussion? Okay, may I entertain a motion then to adopt the proposed resolution ordering city staff to complete the work necessary to bring the property into compliance.
I make a motion that we remove the house only at 64 Spring Street to bring that property in compliance and leave the garage alone.
Second.
And second, okay, got a motion by Councilman Flynn, supported by Councilman Bentley, City Manager Mackey.
This is a question for maybe Tom. So do we need to reference the mobile home? Because it's, I don't even know, it would have to be hauled out with from your record, and the debris within the garage.
I think you need to issue a code enforcement citation from the debris. Again, because they're two separate things, right? The exterior stuff, if there's trash around that probably goes with the house itself, right? If there's something, and I think your junk ordinance allows you to tow things without having to go into court to do it if it's a junk vehicle. But for other stuff, you probably have to have judgment from the court because I don't think that applies as far as condemnation of the building.
Any more council discussion? No? Councilman Bentley.
So to be clear though, it won't have to come back to council and this shouldn't necessarily delay things. Okay. You can do that administratively.
Yes.
Any more council questions, discussion? No? Okay, seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, City Clerk Price.
Yes, Councilperson Flynn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Yes.
Councilperson Soha.
Yes.
Stu Schultz.
Yes.
Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Sessions.
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley?
Yes.
And Robbins?
Yes.
8-0 approved, and that's resolution 3686.
All right, thank you. Now we move into the public hearing, declaration of nuisance, chapter 14, article 2, Hillsdale Code of Ordinance 54 West Street, failure to abate. What's on this?
So just a slight correction, 54 Westwood, not West.
Sorry about that. Okay, Westwood.
So again, we did notify the property owner of the resolution that was passed at the last council meeting and gave him an opportunity to appear tonight to make his case for why we should not move forward with going in and cleaning up the debris on this property and removing the non-compliant fence. And we're just looking for direction from you on how much he wants to do.
Okay, Councilman Flynn.
Kim, I did notice over the weekend that sort of kind of looked a little better, and there were people out there moving stuff around. Is he trying to come into compliance, or is he just moving stuff from point A to point B, and or don't we know?
Would you like to speak on that, Nikki?
Okay, I'll let Nicole.
Nicole did drive by today, so I will let her.
Hi, good morning, Mayor, council members. Yes, this morning I did drive by, not for that inspection specifically, but en route to a different inspection, and it did appear that he did some cleanup. Whether he just moved things from point A to point B, I can't answer that, because we still can't see behind the fence. Now, the last time, we were able to get a picture over the fence. Excuse me. The backyard was so full of things you couldn't even see the ground. And apparently he had said at one point that there were booby traps back there to the police officers not to go back there. So I don't know if he's placed those things behind the fence.
But as of this meeting, he's still not in compliance.
Correct.
Okay, just want to double check.
Councilman Bentley.
Yeah, on the public hearing steps, I think we'll get some candid color from the neighbors. To be clear, the fence is just the fence along the sidewalk, is that right? The back fences or whatever else is not, it's just that front.
So he put that fence up without any permits. So the entire fence is non-compliant because he did not have any permits.
Oh, so like the whole perimeter.
The fence along the sidewalk is too close to the sidewalk, that wouldn't have been allowed anyway.
There are plants between the fence and the sidewalk, I believe.
It can't extend past the front of the house.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? Yes.
Just a reminder, this is a property that we also have a judgment on. So it includes the ability to bring all of the grief judgment and everything else. So we only have judgment that allows us to tear down the non-conforming structures and to clear out all of the debris and dispose of that.
Council questions? Seeing none? Then I will go to, I will open the podium for the public hearing now. And again, this is 54 Westwood Street.
Bruce Sharp, 80 Westwood Street, friendly gentleman of this guy. Don't be fooled by him. He's just window dressing is all he's doing. You've had 4 trucks out there till last night. At dark, 3 of the trucks disappeared. They'll be back. How many times have you been ticketed for blocking the sidewalk? And still does it anyway. So in other words, he's just going to continue this habit he's been doing. He doesn't believe in following the letter of the law. The backyard is definitely got junk in it. You can't see it because it's an illegal fence. The fence should be no higher than 4 feet, so a fireman or policeman can get across there. In the backyard, you can have a 6-foot fence. That is not in the backyard. That is along the side of the street, going towards Bifus' house. It's an illegal fence. The junk is still there. I haven't seen cats lately, but I'm trying to avoid walking down there because he's already approached me once and asked me what my problem was with him. My problem is the junk, the smell, the trash. It's ridiculous, and he continues to do it. He's got 4 trucks, 3 of them right now not there, but they'll be back. He's got 2 trailers out there. He had one yesterday sitting up on the curb, halfway on the curb, halfway on the right of way. He had 8 tires stacked up. I sent it to Dave, a picture of it. There Friday, stacked up on the curb, but in the right of way, just stacked up there, not for sale sign on, just stacked there. It's a continuing junk pile. Do your job, guys. Let's clean it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl Wiesiak, I actually live at 52 Westwood, so I'm his nearest neighbor. I've had probably 100 conversations with Will over the last 2.5 years about everything going on there, and it's constant promises about cleaning it up. And yeah, he did clean up for the past 2 weeks, knowing that this meeting was happening, and finally the road was there to hit the road. I think most of that junk went to the backyard. You can't see it from the street, but you can see it from my deck, you can see it from the kitchen window. I'm not sure if this is, and this is after I've offered to rent industrial store. I've offered to give him labor to clean up everything. But he just agrees to a private lien on his house and I'll get paid back eventually. I try to be a good neighbor, but even that he's rejected. I'm not sure if it's super relevant to what you guys are doing today, but maybe just mention it. He took out all the siding on the front of his house, no plans to replace it. That's as much making this, a rundown property as a junk. My last count, he has 16 cats. Fortunately, there is no limit, I guess. There's no legal limit because no cats can have at your home. But they're everywhere. They're peeing on my deck, or my garden beds, etc. So if maybe you guys can pick it up next meeting and put a limit. 6 might be okay. I don't know. But 16 is too much. That's all I got.
Thank you. More public. Okay, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing and we'll move into public for council comments. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, then may I entertain a motion to adopt a proposed resolution ordering the city staff to complete their work necessary to bring the property into compliance. So support. The motion by Councilman Stoll, support by Councilman Flynn. Any more council discussion? Councilman Flynn.
Yeah, Kim, Nikki, Tom, when this passes, how quickly then does the city get to act, or do we have to wait a few more?
We could do it tomorrow if you want us to. If you had somebody in line to do it, it's probably going to be more ways to come in. Yes.
But there are no more legal hurdles yet.
I wanted to add, and I'm sorry I didn't add earlier, I had previously in the last 2 weeks, after we had our first discussion, I reached out to a few companies regarding a quote to help us haul the things out, and I did receive a quote this morning. So, to answer your question, if everything passes and we get the, good to go, I'm going to coordinate with the girls in my office as well as the guys from DPS, the police to help us in the event that things get out of control. We would like someone to oversee it for us to feel safe. But I would get that plan in place tomorrow. Cool. And move forward with it as quickly as we can.
Thank you.
Councilman Miller.
Sorry, Nicole. How much was the bid and how fast would the contractor be available? It's just the one bid you're considering?
Yeah, it's just the one bid that I've received back thus far. It was tentatively $5,700 to haul everything out.
Wow.
Will you need council? Will you need council approval, or is this sufficient?
Just
Dave's signature.
Yeah, council approval is over $10,000, so the city manager does have the authorization.
Councilman Stewart.
Is this material road in Williamsville?
As far as where this contracted company takes their material, I don't know.
Okay, they call out what they want to do with it, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Melly.
And did you talk the time frame with them?
I did not.
Okay.
It was all, tentative on what happens.
I doubt anybody's gonna beat 5,700. I don't want council to have to okay it, but I hope that you'll plan it with all your various departments, including fire. And, if there's some way to let the neighborhood know that there's gonna be a kerfuffle, an all-day situation, I think that, yeah, so plan well and good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any more council discussion? All right. No, seeing none, we have a roll call vote. Seeing Clerk Price.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Yes.
Councilperson Soka.
Yes.
Stu Schultz.
Yes.
Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Sessions.
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley.
Yes.
Promise.
Yes.
And Flynn.
Yes.
8-0. Resolution 3687.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we'll move into drawing the old business, new business. Item A, power plant engine number 5 repairs. City Engineer Mackey.
Thank you, Mayor. So engine 5 at the power plant is in the need of basically a complete overhaul, including repair or replacement of multiple cylinder heads. The last time we worked on the engine extensively was about 10 years ago when we brought it back up to operation. And attached is a copy of the agenda of the service report and the estimate from Larry Wheeler from Wheeler World. Wheeler World's estimate is the worst case scenario, and it's hoped that the final cost will come in at less than $800,000. That is replacing 50% of the heads, which he doesn't anticipate will be needed. But it's a project that you don't know the extent until you take the engine apart. So with that, engine 5 provides the city with about 3.3 to 4 megawatts of capacity, which the city is required to have in place, and it's an additional emergency power unit when power goes out to the city. Based on the cost of capacity and $800,000 investment if we had to pay the full amount, would pay for itself in 4 years. That capacity of that size would cost us between $165,000 and $200,000 a year to have in place. And so we either invested the monies into the engine and get the engine up, or we just pay a third party to have capacity on our books. That being said, just some facts about the engine. Based on the size of the engine, operational, it's worth about $7 million. So getting it up for $800,000 or less, in our opinion, both the electric committee, myself, and the electric department staff, is a good investment because it does pay for itself in 4 years. Additionally, when we run the engine, and we've actually been running it more routinely, just because of various grid situations, like Christmas we had to run, 4th of July we typically run, so either really cold or really hot, and the engines run really well. We actually make money off the engines. So in January, we ran 17 hours between engine 5 and 6, and we received a $53,000 credit for our energy bill. So we saved $53,000 for those 17 hours we ran. So there's value there. And when you attribute it to the size of the engine, probably a little less than half of that was attributed to engine 5. So about 25,000 is my estimate on that engine would generate it. Now we, as I said, have been running more frequently, just based on grid and usage. We do do recommend, or are recommending that it be repaired, and we do have Mr. Wheeler, who has been working on this engine for, I'm thinking 30 or 40 years.
Yes. Even longer than that, probably.
Yeah, I'll be generous. 30 to 40 years, probably 40 to 50 years. I think he was actually on the install team on one of the engines. Right?
Yes, he was 19 years old when they installed engine 6. And that was in 76.
Yes. So he has a business where he does these engines pretty extensively across the country, so he's worked with us for many years. Based on the council's decision, he is ready to begin work on this engine. The hope would be that it would be done before the end of the year, by the end of the year, because as I state, we have to buy temporary capacity on the markets just to get through the end of the year, and our quote for that is $75,000 to get through the end of the year, just to have it and be in compliance. So, currently, as it states on the agenda summary, the electric department has about $4.2 million in available cash for capital projects, and it's for projects like this. Repair of an engine. If you remember when we had the ice storm cost us $500,000 to make all the repairs, and we did not receive any federal or state money, so that came all out of our pocket. So that when you see that number, it's because when we have to repair things, they're big dollar amounts. It's not cheap. But that being said, we do have the money there to do it with a 4-year or so payback, hopefully less if we run. It seems to make good business sense to have generation here where we can use it as opposed to having it on paper in someplace else that doesn't help us.
Question, I mean, do we do the VM on this program?
Oh, go ahead.
Do we do the VM program on this, or do you have Wheeler come in and do additional PM?
We do some of them, but we do have a number of companies that come in, including Wheeler and others, that will come in and do preventive maintenance. Yes.
I just want to recap. So to replace it, to buy a new one, you're talking millions of dollars.
Yes. We would not probably make that decision. We would, I think in the AMP summary that was in here, I asked him, okay, if we had to put one of like the power secure engines or invest in a project, what would it cost? Like power secure would be over $430,000 a year plus operation and maintenance. So you'd be over $500,000 to $600,000 a year. To put in a new unit for a long period of time.
And this current engine is well over 50 years old.
It is. It's 54.
Is this major repair? I mean, rebuilt?
I think it's been rebuilt before, but we haven't. These engines are in good shape otherwise, and it's felt by the Mr. Wheeler and the staff who operate them that we can get some good years out of it if we just get these repairs.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Councilman Valley.
Summer years, did Mr. Wheeler put more optimistic and concrete number on it?
I'm going to ask Doug to come up. Doug's our operator, and he's been around these engines a long time. I don't think anyone can give us an exact time, but these engines are pretty hardy, and they're actually, the company, Cooper Bessemer, has actually started reproducing parts, and they're actually going out to rebuild or to recast head molds, because there's so many of these engines out there that are operational that they actually need to start up rebuilding parts. Doug, can you, as far as longevity?
Longevity, if there's Mr. Wheeler, his company, if we can keep heating the motors all the time, these engines are huge. They work better when they're running constantly. This constant run 8 hours at a time and shut them down, because the cost goes down for us to run. There's no sense to us running that option. If we can keep heat into those engines after that, which we have electric heaters for the oil, but we only have a boiler system that's only turned on during the winter time that heats the whole plant. They're not help us generate and get a boiler system put in, so they'll be hot all year long. They need to be at least 130 degrees to keep everything swelled up and metal smooth. Sounds like causing that. What they're doing, this is what they found, this damage, or to have this rebuilt. They're doing a PM for us. And they did a bore scope, and they found couple crack heads, and they went down more, and it's been over, more than 10 years since they've been resealed, tore apart, but new gas system. And every so many years we need to do that. If they're not ran, we should.
So Doug mentions the heating. So what ends up happening is this starting to stop. The metal contracts and expands, right? So when we run it, it expands and then it cools down quickly, contracts, and that causes that problem. We're hoping with this 800,000 number, we can actually get a heater system installed on both engines. Or if we come in at less than 800,000, we could come back to council and get authorization to put a heater on the heads to keep that from occurring. That seems to be his best guess on what's caused some of this latest issue. So,
it sounds like there's some chance that once he gets in there, he may decide it's over. Is that possible?
I'd say that's probably not going to be the case. His number of 800,000 was the worst case scenario. He's worked on engines like this all over the world and the country, and his estimate is that 10 of the 20 heads would have cracks, and he thinks that's very conservative because he's never seen that many cracked in any particular unit. So, like Doug had indicated, the last time we worked on it was about 10 years ago. If we get 10 years out of this, it's paid for itself. And we think we could probably get more if we keep the head and continue doing the preventive maintenance.
Council discussion. May I entertain a motion to approve repairing engineer number 5 for a not to exceed $800,000 with the work being paid out of the electric department's reserves. So, I have a motion by Councilman Flynn, supported by Councilman Escucho. Any more council discussion? Councilman Saw. Oh, thank you, Councilman. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mackey, for you, I was just curious. You said it's going to cost us about $75,000 to energy. What would it cost us to produce that? Or this?
So it's not supplemental energy, it's just capacity. So we have to have both purchase our energy needs and capacity above that, which is pretty much identical. So there's a market for capacity. The 75,000 gets us through the end of the year. If we go beyond the end of the year, we would have to purchase some additional to move forward with that. So the cost is somewhere in the market is that 165 to 200,000 currently. That all depends on auctions that occur typically in the spring. So it could go up. We haven't seen it go down in recent time, but that would be the cost of it.
So I appreciate that, and it's helpful, the explanation. I was curious though what the cost EPU to produce the similar to this engine 5.
So it's the 75,000, so if we took that, the 25,000 that it in running, generated in January, for about 8 hours of runtime, 8.5 hours of runtime. If we run 3 times, we've covered that percent.
So, just to clarify, we're buying the energy on the open market, right, and having to meet those standards. Regardless, it's just if engine 5 runs, then we receive compensation.
That's correct. It's that we have that in the house versus like the 75,000 is going to go to a third party that is somewhere in the region. We can't really say where at this point, but it will go to somebody that's not directly tied to us. So it's kind of a paper. So if everything went out, we might never get that energy or that capacity to us. It's just how the system works.
Any more council discussion? Seeing none, then roll call vote, City Clerk Press.
Yes. Councilmember Soha.
Yes.
Stuchel.
Yes.
Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Sessions.
Yes.
Councilmember Bentley.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Harding.
Yes.
It's no approved.
All right, thank you. Now we move into new business item B, noteworthy AI inspection program. City Manager Mackey.
Thank you, Mayor. So Noteworthy is an AI tool that analyzes pictures taken by vehicle-mounted cameras to inventory and analyze them at community's electric distribution pole system. AMP, the American Municipal Power Agency, has partnered with Noteworthy to make their AI program available to AMP members. We are an AMP member. AMP is made up of about 200 communities like Hillsdale, Coldwater, Marshall, Clinton, Wyandotte, and Ohio, and other places are AMP members. And through Noteworthy, Hillsdale could work more proactively towards our system reliability by inventory and analyzing the condition of our electric distribution poles and assets. Hillsdale has around 7,000 utility poles for our customer base and our system. Once our system's pictures are taken and uploaded into Noteworthy, AI analyzes those. And basically it identifies, we can go into the program and identify poles with deficiencies, whether it's cracked, the cross arms are cracked, the pole is in poor shape. If during the day lights are on, because that periodically happens, or attachment information because we have communications and fiber folks who are down below our poles. So it will identify vegetation conditions. So it will identify these things, and then we can search the database to bring up maintenance lists. Currently, we're relying on drive-by and memory for staff to come around. And where this once, we know we've got probably about 4,700 poles that are off roads. The other 2,300 is out in the woods and down corridors that we work to maintain with our tree program. But the idea would be to at least get all the road ones done, and then make an effort to get the off-road ones done, and to get all 7,000 in the system. Currently, again, as I said, it's pretty much, someone sees it when they're out and about, and they make a note, like say there's growth on the pole. And we've probably all seen that if we pay attention to some of it, the vines growing up or whatnot. where we can search the database and it'll tell us every pole that has lines on it. And then we can have a protocol to go out and address that. So that being said, to do the 4,700 poles, which we know are on the roads, we're about 21,000 for the camera rental, for the loading all the data and utilizing the program for a year. If we get the others on there, we're at a total of about 29,000. We've seen demos of this, both the BP Electric Subcommittee, our IT Director Brandon, and myself, as well as our GIS coordinator, sat through programs and went through other communities' data like this. We feel this would be a benefit to us to be more proactive on our maintenance. Again, right now we're very reactive, and having a small team makes that somewhat challenging to be ahead of the game versus always behind the 8 ball. So that's what we're trying to do here, is become more proactive with addressing our maintenance issues, and we feel that for the 21 to 29,000, so and I put here a max not to exceed 30,000, that this would be a very useful tool for the electric department to keep things running.
Councilman Stuccio.
So this would be a one-time shot. I mean, you go out and gather data, do your maintenance, but how often would you want to come back and do this again? So they suggest you do it periodically, whether it's annually or biannually, so you can track your improvements. So this would be the one time to get all the data in. And then we would look at potentially doing either the following year or 2 years to try to soften the blow. But again, as I indicated, with our staffing levels, it really is to be proactive. It's pretty tough. We don't really have any tools to do that at this time. We think this will provide us with that.
Councilman Flynn.
So and that was a great question. So when they come back the following year or every other year, are we still looking at the same type of pricing, or is this because we're new and we got to get everything in, and then it'll be cheaper or less expensive because all the basic stuff is in?
So it would probably be similar in cost. So basically what AMP had done was negotiate with Noteworthy a single price point because of the number of communities they have. So they were able to get a particular price point from Noteworthy, which was basically the price of a larger community, that all their AMP's community members could use. So we're actually saving a substantial amount doing this, but the price would be very comparable. And I think AMP agreed and Noteworthy agreed to do it for 5 years as kind of a test to see how it has worked for the members. And the hope would be that it becomes a useful tool, like with many things, as you advance technology, and it will be a benefit to it. If it's not, then we don't continue.
Councilman Valley.
So this is obviously very technical. Can you give us, because I imagine there's a lot of our people and on this council, civil libertarians. We see AI and cameras driving around. Is the only input the pictures they take?
Yes, so the camera is actually mounted to the top of a vehicle, and they're angled at the utility poles. So they are set only to take pictures of distribution assets like poles and lines and cross arms. So they wouldn't be taking pictures of houses or anything like that. And then that's put into the AI just on the condition of the pole. It will actually also, like if a pole's leaning, it will pick that up and point that out to you, things like that.
So it won't get the vines when they're getting closer, but it'll get them near the top. So just to reassure us, it's not the camel's nose in the tent. We're not going down the road we can't.
No.
Okay, this is purely for efficiency of your operation.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Councilman Flynn.
You brought up the lines, Dave. Are they also going to take pictures of all of the lines between the poles, or simply just the poles?
It's really the pole area, so, it will catch some of the lines, but, you've got the poles, you have the cross arms, you have the fuses, the transformers, the lines underneath, the lines on the pole, the lights. So all that, it shows up in the pictures, and they're high resolution, and AI sorts those pictures into categories.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman
One
Stewart.
last question, just out of curiosity.
Yes.
So this is a drive-by shoot, I mean, can they continue moving, or you gotta stop and take each pole?
No, they can continue driving at actual speed limit. Yeah. So what we would do in this scenario is we would rent the camera for a week and we would mount it to a vehicle, and then Noteworthy will help us do a route and to make sure that we capture all our poles on the route, and then we'll address how we do the off-road ones separately.
Drones.
Well, that or they're working on a ability, either a UTV, or they're working on the possibility of being able to use your cell phone. So where you can go and just take a picture of the pole and download it into the system. So
More questions? Seeing none, then may I entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing this master services agreement with AMP to deploy the Networthy program for an amount not to exceed $30,000 from the electric department's 2026-27 budget.
Support.
A motion by Councilman Stuccio, supported by Councilman Flynn. Any more council discussion? Seeing none, Councilman Soha.
Just kind of, I feel Councilman Bentley's concern, and just would encourage the city to ensure it doesn't overly pursue these types of things. I remember a couple years ago when we were discussing the trails and things, and there was a suggestion that we put a camera on the trail for safety. As I think about that, it just maybe not. So just
See you next time.
So this is, initially, it's just a one time, so when you drive around. So it will give those initial pictures of the poles. It would not be something that's there continually. Now, some communities actually purchase a camera, and so it's designed to update the data as you drive by. So if they have a camera on the top of the vehicle, as they're doing work and driving through their system, it's automatically taking additional pictures and updating them. But we're not doing that. We're doing just a single shot.
I appreciate that. I understand the value of this. It's going to be able to catch things that we're driving in the city that we might overlook as we're driving by. And I can appreciate that technology, but just want to make sure we keep the tight use of it.
Councilman Valley.
Along the lines, Councilman Soha, and forgive me, Chief, if I didn't ask your permission before mentioning this, but Chief told me he got a call from Flock and Flock cameras, and basically said, we're not interested in this. We appreciate that. So, thank you.
See you next time.
Yeah, this would not be anything that we're hearing about this month.
Any more council discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, City Clerk Price.
Ms. Councilperson Stewart.
Yes.
Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Sessions.
Yes.
Councilperson Benton.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Yes.
And Councilperson Solomon.
Yes.
8-0 approved, resolution 36.
All right, thank you. We move into new business item C, renewal Microsoft Assurance Licensing. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. And so this is our annual renewal for the Microsoft platform that we use for our servers and operating system. The reason I'm bringing this to the City Council versus it being up above in the consent agenda. So we did not have a quorum for our BPU meeting this month. And this is time sensitive, that it expires at the end of this month. So I'm bringing it directly to council to approve it so that we do not lapse our service with Microsoft product. Otherwise, the BPU would have approved it at their meeting and it would not be accepted.
Councilman Flynn.
Yeah, Dave, just real quick, I noticed that it's the agreement is the third year of a 3-year agreement. So is this basically the same price we paid the first 2 years?
Yes, sir.
So they will come back with us, or come back next year with a new quote for you of this one. Thank you.
Council discussion? Seeing none, may I entertain a motion to renew the Microsoft licensing at a cost of $9,724. So, support. Motion by Councilman Solon, support by Councilman Flynn. Any more council discussion? Seeing none, may I roll call vote, City Clerk Price.
Councilman Wolfram.
Yes.
Mayor Sessions.
Yes.
Councilman Benton.
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
Yes.
Councilman Solomon.
Yes.
And Stewart. 8-0 approved.
All right, thank you. Miscellaneous reports, we have no proclamations, appointments, or none. We'll move into general public comment. By City Council rules and procedure, I'm requiring anyone who speaks during public comment to state their name and address and limit their comments to 3 minutes. The podium is now open.
Good evening, my name is Miguel Danish Maltese. I am a BPU customer, and I want to say first of all that I hold BPU in very high regard. Thank you very much for your service, Mr. Mackey.
What is your address?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1500 South Lake Pleasant Road in Osseo. We're actually at the very eastern end of the service line. Thank you. And I just wanted to say I appreciate the concerns that Councilman Bentley and one of the other councilmen expressed regarding the potential for things like this to be employed subversively, maybe even against your will and without your knowledge, Mr. Mackey, as part of a Panopticon type control group. And I would just ask the council members to be mindful of that as a general matter, and also in reference to this situation. I think these things need to be kept at close. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Larry Walworth, Ward 3, Leroy Street. Make sure I get the complete address in for your money. I'd like to know why people that put the brush out this last time were not held responsible for it. Instead of home enforcement getting involved, Mr. Mackey sent DPS out for the 3rd time this year. They did the regular one in the spring, they did the storm one, and because somebody could not do their job that they're paid for, they had to go on and do it again. And at the same time, there's still old code violations present about the city. I checked on 3 of them on my way in. So, code enforcement is a waste. And they're paying people to do nothing by what's still out there, which things have been reported. And I showed some people on. So, other than that, thank you. Keep spending the money.
Thank you. Any more public?
Good evening, Council. My name is Robert Eichler. I come from Scipio Township. Again, I found Mr. Mackey, as of today, talking about BPU. Someone very far out that you guys have as a customer. We started to talk about what was happening in the county, of course, what was going on with electricity, whether or not you'd be connecting it to the new lines, and how much you'd be having, and so on. But at least they wanted to give you, I'm not going to say directly to you or to me that I need to give it to you, but they complimented the direction that has gone on their own electric. So you got another compliment out there. Other than that, it was about your long hair around your ears need to be cut, and throw that one out there. I want to address something else, and I want to make it clear. We've had a lot of incidences that has happened over the issue of a Dane, and there's our county clerk. And we just got done looking at 2023 that showed that the letters that were sent out to, such as our own clerk, that would have, under the guidelines of a clerk holding on to the voting and the tabulators and whatnot, before it was being cleaned out. And I had asked, a question was, why isn't these, once you've held on to your supposed tabulator and your flash drive and whatnot, votes, for those 22 months, after such, that you would have the right to destroy. Under that program, they have that right to destroy, but I found no clerk yet to actually give us a date and have someone else witnessing on that date when it was being destroyed or was, being redone. I think the tabulators are supposed to be hauled off to the clerk again. I don't know why it is that way, but I'm just asking, we got a federal election coming up, and I think that what Stephanie Scott over in North Adams has, very much proven the case being that there was a lot of problems with the state's accountability and what was being overhauled from that, and especially at the court that had been presiding over it. I just would wish that you'd take a little more attention. This is the federal one coming up, and I think that we need to make assurances that we're not being, forecasted out with the tabulator. The tabulator is doing everything but make our own food. Why can't we go back to the paper ballot? I'm encouraging a lot of the people. I just finished up the data thing over Coldwater. It was quite interesting to listen to the gentleman come out from MSU. But also, as he was clear about it, the data center does control a lot of the stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the podium and we'll go into the city's manager report. City Manager Mankey.
Thank you, Mayor. We did put a written report in the packet for this time. Just a few things that we pointed out. One is the vertical autonomy expansion includes major Hillsdale investments. This is an associated business with Cobra Moto and Cobra Aero in the industrial park, which has really been a success for the community. It started off with Cobra Moto and motorcycles or dirt bikes, and has grown into drone work and other things, other products, and federal contracts. They've been a huge success for the community in the industrial park. And they've purchased this year their second building, so we have 2 buildings, and actually own a lot to expand further. So we're pretty excited about their growth and their activities. Secondly, we received notification that the Hallett Street Bridge work went out to bid and received competitive bids in MDOT Rail selected the low bidder, which was $7.3 million to raise the tracks so we can get more height under the Hallett Street Bridge. But in fact, that is basically a grant because there was no additional cost to the city there. So we're pretty excited. And as many of you know, it's routine that we would have accidents there where campers and potato chip trucks and garbage trucks hit that bridge. And it's been built on a couple of occasions. So we're pretty excited. This is to start next summer. This will get us pretty good, about 3 feet additional under that bridge, which will be huge for ambulances and other things.
Will clear speed? Will be 36?
I don't think it's going to be, Jason, yeah, you probably know.
12. Yeah. Sorry.
We couldn't get the additional without going down, so they got the max they could out of the distance, which was 12.9. Sure. Jason, is there anything else you wanted to say?
If I may. So that 12'9", it first came in at 12.7. As we met with public safety, our chief hacker at the time, Board of Public Utilities, myself, to get to everything that we have, ambulance, fire trucks, we needed to be at 12.9. They were able to accommodate us for this no pressure pump issues. So it's everything we have will through there. To get through.
Otherwise, we would have had to go down, which was more cost.
Correct. We had to acquire property, do an at-grade crossing, some wetland impacts and so forth. So it wasn't very cost efficient to do the other way.
Oh, that's what I was. So you have to acquire other property to leave the tracks where they are and
no, sir.
Build the road up to the tracks.
Correct.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, they looked at multiple different options, and this was the least expensive, which is $7.3 million. But to build the road up, they would have had to acquire probably the 2 houses on the east side of the bridge, and took the road all the way past the Three Meadows Drive.
Yeah, it would have been probably about 50 feet west of Three Meadows Drive when they started building it up at. And then a kid crossing back on the east side of the hill.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right, and it's all in grant?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Councilman Flynn. Matt, one of the other things is if you go up another foot, trains don't like hills. So you gotta have a smaller grade to get the trains to go up. So you'd have to go farther in each direction. And then if you were gonna raise that bridge another foot, all of a sudden you're impacting the crossings in town, that you may have to raise those up now, possibly impacting the bridge over Beacon Street. You may have to, by the high school there, you might have to raise that, and going the other way towards like Wilson Road and things like that, having to raise up. So going up another foot sounds great, but now you've got to go sideways, and there's a lot of extra stuff.
No. Just to be clear, to be clear.
I mean, it'd be nice if we could go another foot, but
No, I'm not saying go another foot. And I'm not an engineer. I don't know anything about anything. I just was wondering why we can't build the road up to where it is to go over the tracks, not move the tracks. So, anyway.
It was very much more costly. We looked at that option, but as Councilman Flynn said, I think they have to raise the tracks starting a quarter mile out to get up to whatever the height is, and then they gotta have a quarter mile to go down just because of the slopes and such. So we got the maximum height we could get without,
Plus, I would also imagine that if you built the road up to the bridge on the other side, that's going to be one heck of a hill getting back down in time to get into Three Meadows and all of that, or you have to raise that driveway up to try to, you have a real engineering mess.
Yeah, and there were other things, we have that water drainage area there, and all those things came into play. And we have underneath, we have utilities and various other things under the road. To go down deeper, it was very costly because BPU has sanitary sewer main, electrical, various things there. So we got the best we could height-wise, and we were able to get that extra couple of inches to get our public safety vehicles under.
And actually, this goes back to 2017 when we tried to get a safety grant in order to fix it in the first place, and then we didn't get the grant. So it goes back to 2017 since we were trying to fix this.
So fire and ambulance, our current vehicles will be able to get under that at the new height?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Let's hope some big truck doesn't take it out.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have the signs showing the height because it won't be the full amount with the blinkers like we do now. And that doesn't seem to catch everyone. Last few things, Oak and South Street resurfacing update. We're told by the contractor that they will be looking to start around September 14th on that, as we're kind of waiting in the queue for other projects to finish up. The milling is planned for both streets at approximately the same time with the full depth patching to follow immediately, and then the wear course on the top. As a reminder, the property owners' summer property tax bills are payable without penalty and interest through August 31st. After August 31st deadline, there's a 4% penalty for late payments. There are many different options that we address. And I think one thing I do want to address or mention, as Mr. Woolworth had mentioned about brush collection. So, in regards to the brush collection happening twice, so that is correct. It happened twice because after we had that big storm, which took out many trees in town, it damaged lots of property owners' trees. DPS went out relatively quickly, like within the week, and went through town, but the people did not have the opportunity to get the majority of their stuff or any of it out. So after they had went through town, in discussions between Jason and I, we recognized that there was a lot of stuff out at the curb that didn't get out in that initial pickup. And we felt it was important to go back out and go through the town one more time, because some people had their whole front of the lot covered with tree debris from fallen trees and brush that was damaged during that storm. So we went out a second time and got probably 90-some% of it. But some people did still bring it out after that. And we drew the line there and said, that's just gonna have to wait. And because of the cost of that, our next collection will be the spring collection, because it doesn't make sense to do it in October when we just had this big drop. So that's the plan moving forward, but that's why we went out twice, is because there was so much debris from that last storm that it was still, by the time people got it out, it was everywhere.
Sir, there was actually 3 pickups.
No, Larry, you're out of order. But if council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer that, or Jason can come up too.
No question, just a comment. I endorse that. That sounds reasonable. While we're here, I'm sorry, I'm compelled to, I guess, bring a little negativity. This September start for Oak and South is very disappointing, and we all can only point the fingers at ourselves. I think the engineer warned us when we got here in October. We talked about it in January. We dawdled. Staff took an extra month after SADS fell apart, and now we're going to be solid in the school year, and that is unfortunate.
Councilman Flynn.
Yeah, question for Dave. Do we have an update on the airport project for the taxiway? I remember Travis saying something earlier that if we were to act quickly on the grant money from MDOT, we'd only have to pay a lesser amount than if we were to wait. And I think we did act quickly. Do we have a start date on that? Is that something that's going to be done yet this year?
The project itself still has to be designed, so I would anticipate it will be designed this year and it will probably be a next year project. I do not have an update on that comment from Travis, but I'll get that and we'll follow up at the next meeting.
Any more questions for City Manager Mackey? Okay, then we will go into council comment. Councilman Flynn.
Yeah, I just wanted to really quick give a shout out to the Hillsdale City Fire Department. Within a 24-hour period, they got 3 calls. They had 2 calls yesterday on a Sunday, 2 house fires, and then they assisted the Hillsdale Township Fire Department with a fire out at White Oaks Golf Course this morning. So our firefighters have been very, very busy, and from the people I talked to and then the people in the areas, they did an outstanding job. So hats off to the chief and all the guys that were part of that. It's good that we've got a fire department that is ready to go when we need it. Unfortunately, they've been needed quite a bit here the last 24 hours.
Any more council comment? Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Thank you. I am curious about these flock cameras. I hadn't heard about them, I think, until a week ago, and I've heard about them every day since. So what's the process there? Do they contract with the city? The way people are talking about this, they can just start putting them up on private property. How does this work? Is there an ordinance? Do you have to opt into it? Does anyone know? What's it for?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the flock cameras, from my understanding, from what other communities have done, it's a contract basis. So what the city would do is they would pay a certain amount of money to enter into a contract with Flock to be able to use it. So what Flock is, it's an automatic license plate reader, ALPR. And what that does is you would mount it on a pole and it would scan the vehicles coming through. They have access somehow to the data, to our law enforcement information network, or it just inputs into that network. And then we have what we call a hot sheet, and that sheet is a list of stolen vehicles and things of that nature. In Flint, it's still printed, but it's electronic, and it will check that it'll check each plate off of that list. And if they get a match, it will contact the department via, I've seen a text message to a supervisor or an officer saying, hey, there's a stolen car here, just cross this intersection. Or they can search by plate if they have a plate of interest that they think may have been involved in a crime, an abduction, a kidnapping, such incidents such as that, to be able to see whether or not that vehicle has occurred in their jurisdiction.
Okay, so the city would have to pass an ordinance to opt into it?
And you guys would have to do a resolution, because I'm sure it would be over $10,000 to enter into a contract with that.
And they own the cameras and sell you the data or contract with you to give you the input?
It's some sort of contract for the hardware and things of that nature.
Okay, so it's basically like a toll booth all over the city, something like that.
Essentially, yes. In the sense of license plate reading, yes. Obviously, a lot more power on the backside to be able to access that data would be for full collection.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them all over Metro Detroit just in the past week. What's the value, what's the risk in your assessment?
So my personal assessment at this time, only being here 6 months, is the fact that we don't have to pass through traffic or the crime that would necessitate moving that drastic to a solution of that nature where we would need that type of information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman Bentley.
But, that's the front line, that's how they sell it. They sell it to the police, but they collect all the data and sell it to everyone behind the scenes. The insurance, they're tracking you, it's the paying outcome, it's here. So, yeah, no, it's scary.
I figure at minimum you're going to drive by McDonald's and you're going to get a coupon notification on your phone. That's the least of my worries. My real worries is they have kill switches in my car and my social credit score is too low and they kill my car when they see me driving by.
Coldwater has these flat cameras. They've had them for several years, if I'm not mistaken.
And in some communities, they are a valuable tool. You look at Coldwater, you have 69 running through it, and you have a ton of pass-through traffic. And you have a different dynamic there than you have in this town. Frankly, I don't really see a need in the city.
Do you know the sheriff's opinion? Have you chatted with him about them?
I have not.
Okay. Could the county contract for them within the municipal jurisdiction? Do you know?
I'm not sure on that. I have to get back to you.
Do some research on it. Thank you.
Councilman Bentley.
Thank you. Now that we're talking about it, Mr. Mackey, the attorney, Mr. Mayor, all of us, can you look into, can we preemptively prohibit it? Because he's right. If it's private citizens, I prefer to get ahead of it than find out it's here and they own us completely. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
It would be pretty hard to do it as a blanket kind of thing, only because the systems change. I mean, you could have multiple manufacturers and stuff like you could put the software and different setups in that. So, I suppose if you really wanted to, you could pass some sort of ordinance that says, or a resolution, one of the two, that the public safety department can install or purchase those things without council's approval. But that's, for the most part, pretty much going to be the case anyway, because I can't imagine ever find a system of that nature that would be below the threshold to seek city council approval. So.
Nonetheless, if it's not too much trouble, yeah, I would like it to be an ordinance. Maybe we should talk about that with OMG or something, but.
Yeah, the trick would be how you're going to define what types of things you're going to preclude.
But I don't think a company can just come in and install the cameras without our approval, correct?
Not on the poles or anything within the right of way, because the city controls the right of way.
Okay.
Yeah, but the issue is, as Mayor Portet said, they're going to keep coming, and as the attorney said, they're going to change the parameters and whatever. So I just would, it may be a fig leaf, it may not, but if we pass an ordinance, it's technically difficult. I don't know what it looks like exactly.
But I just think what Tom was saying is that you're not going to find a camera system for under 10 grand, and anything over 10 grand we have to approve anyway. So they can bring a left, right, and center. We can just vote no.
Yes, but as everything else, we're not really the customer. We're this data stuff, and these pen applicant. They're the predators, and we're what they're selling to the data miners. So anyway.
I just want to thank City Manager Mackey and Assistant Manager Fry and Jason and everybody who worked on the $7.3 million for the Happening Project. Thank you so much. It's been a long time, and it's great that we're going to get that fixed. So, any more on council comment?
I make the motion we adjourn.
Okay. Support. Okay, a motion by Councilman Flynn, supported by Councilman Stuccio. Thank you so much for everyone who attended tonight and viewed the meeting, and I appreciate it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes, meeting is adjourned.